I grew up in Woodley Estate. Yay, Woodley! Not the Woodley you're seeing now, not the Woodley of demolition and toy market and matatus and pikipikis. No, 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 no. The Woodley of the 70s and the 80s. It was green, it was lush, it was safe. Oh my God, good memories. You know, we had the famous bar, if you guys are in that age, called Tumbos. Who knows Tumbos? I know my brother is here, so I'm sure he used to open the door. Yeah, and then there was Metropole. Remembers the movie theater? Anyone? Yes, and then there was a bowling alley. Who were posh, us guys of Woodley. My mother, who is here today, raised us as a single mother. She worked hard, man. Hey? She had 3 children. There was my sister, may she rest in peace. Then there's my brother, who's also here. And then there's me, the baby. And yes, Dawn, the babies rock. The babies, we're last borns, man. Hey, we rock. It's all about us. It's all about us. Mom worked very hard. She worked hard. She had lots of sacrifices. She made sure we went to good schools. She made sure we had family vacations. She was strict, though. What? The neighborhood kids used to call her Margaret Thatcher, right? Her car was KRY 090. Remember that, Kinuthia? And so you remember the roundabout on Gong Road, Adams? She used to hoot from there, and then I would run from wherever I am because of the fear. She was strict and she kept us in line, but she provided and she gave and she supported. And she still does. So let's clap for her. So as we all grew up and we went to high school, Mom felt that she wanted her kids to see the world. And so my brother and sister, older than me, were sent abroad for studies, and I was left here in high school. I wasn't a good student. Anyone here in State House Girls knows. I was way at the bottom. I didn't take school seriously. I played a lot. I just thought it was a breeze. Again, the soft life. Didn't have to worry about fees. I didn't worry about anything adult. Mom just provided everything. Then I graduated high school. And it became a serious conversation. Like, what do you want to do with yourself? I was like, where am I going? This is good life. There's food. There's people cleaning for me. There's day hangs. Hey, the worry was, how are we going to get to Dreams? Remember Dreams? You guys remember Dreams on Mombasa Road? How are we going to get to Bubbles? You know, who are the cute boys? That was my concern. But Mom was like, you got to figure yourself out. You got to go. I'm like, no. Can't leave this place. It was soft. Meanwhile, my brother and my sister would call and they would sound so sad. They are homesick. They are broke. They are cold. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. Where am I going? Mom is like, you need to grow up. You need to leave the nest. So my sister had been living in Germany doing her thing. So Mom ships me to Germany. You guys remember that first flight of leaving home? The tears. Because you just know that life isn't soft. You know you're growing up. You know you're going to go to a place where you have to make hard decisions. You have to figure yourself out. I wasn't ready. But there I am, find myself living in cold Germany. I went through the au pair program. Everyone know what the au pair is? Au pair is like a boat. It's like a nanny, whatever fancy name. It's a caregiver, it's a nanny, it's a diaper-changing person. So after leaving this soft life where things were being done for me, now I'm living in Germany, and I'm the one changing diapers. I'm cleaning house, I'm changing diapers, I'm being responsible, and I'm only like 19 and a half, almost 20. And I'm like, this life is unsoft. But the Muzungus were trying to be nice to me. They didn't speak English. I didn't speak German. We were getting along. But not too far away from me, my sister lived there, so she would support me. So it wasn't that bad. So the au pair visa has to come to an end at some point, right? So I talked to my sister, and I'm like, hey, the au pair visa is coming to an end. I'm thinking maybe the best thing is just to go home because, that's where I'm comfortable. My family's like, no, you're 22s now. You need to figure yourself out. I'm thinking, really? Do I really have to? So we start discussing about the fact of how am I going to stay in Germany when the visa ends. In the meantime, my au pair friends and I, many girls from Kenya and different countries, we used to go to African-American army clubs because the army was all around Germany. And we used to go and, there we were feeling, I'm black, they're black, so there's a kind of a blend thing, yeah. But you also feel they're calling you African queen, and you're feeling, hey, this vibe is nice, You're like, hey, Kumbes, the more African you speak, the more they're like, oh my God, you're so cute. And I'm just like, oh, my name is Nyokabi. And they're like, your name is? And I'm just like, Nyokabi. And I'm like, hey, the more you speak local, the more you get in the box. So one night, this tall, handsome guy in a uniform, man. Girls, a guy in a uniform? Yeah, there's no ugly guy. Even these cops here on Gong Road. Sometimes you're driving and it's a rough day and you're like, hey, that guy. That guy, I can, You never know. When things are a bit dry, he's sitting there with his imaginary kabook and you're looking at him like, hey, that guy you can go down. So anyway, this guy, we'll call him the sergeant, comes up to me, tunes me, quickly I'm in the box, he's 10 years older, he's charming. Remember, I'm still like a young girl from Woodley, still a young girl, and the love thing hits you. Ladies, do you all remember your first love? Even till today, you're feeling it. If that guy walks in today, you guys will be like, hi. He's married with kids, but you're still like, hi, that's my first love. That was my first love. The sergeant just took me from little girl to womanhood, and I was like, hey, I'm in love. Right? But now I had this dilemma. The visa is coming to an end. And before, Germany was feeling a bit cold, but now that I'm in love, right? Germany is looking like Diani. It's warm, it's sunny. I'm like, no way. I am not going back to Kenya. So I go to my sister. My sister's like, well, my sister was very proper. She was married, she had a child, she had a good job. She didn't know this shady business. I'm like, me, I'm not going back. Me, I love this guy. And she's like, well, I'm just like, no, we got to figure this out. So she kind of asks around people, and then we get to meet Mr. Heinz. Everyone keep track of these people, because it's important. There's Mr. Who was the first guy I met. What's his name? And this guy is? Good. So now, Heinz is going to solve our problems. So Heinz was a friend of a friend. We knew him. He's about 15 years older than I was. And we go to him, and my sister's like, well, my sister wants to stay because she's in love with the sergeant. What do we do? And all of a sudden, he's like, what do we need to do? He's a friend. He says, oh, you know what? We don't know, but we need to get her visa. So we decide I'm going to become Mrs. Heinz. And I get married. Hold on, don't judge. You guys are judging. It wasn't for marriage party. You're judging. It wasn't marriage of like Ati staying at home and being a wife. In fact, Mr. Heinz had a partner. And me, I had Mr. Sergeant. Or the sergeant. So it was for convenience. He actually offered to marry me to help me to get residency to stay in the country. We do the deal, we come back to Germany. My sister's happy, mom's a bit concerned, like, what does that mean? Are you now a wife? I'm like, I'm no one's wife because this guy has a partner. She's like, a partner? Yeah, he's not playing for our team. Mom's like, oh, okay. So she's a bit settled. So time goes on, and I get the papers. So now I'm happy in sunny Germany. But somewhere in my mind, I'm still remembering that life of security where mom was providing and protecting me. Now I'm on my own. Now I'm a wife, and I'm a girlfriend. All at the same time. But I'm juggling. It's like how guys are doing it now in Nairobi. But But there was no character development for me. I was just going with the flow. Anyway, so now I'm happy and we're traveling together. Life's good. Then mom, good old mom, decides to make that call and ask me, all right, what's next? And then she says, I think your time in Germany is over. Let's move on to your brother who is living in the States. And I'm like, what? So a couple of years later, I find myself living in North Carolina. Now I've let go, Mr. And Mr. So now my brother is there with open arms to guide me into this new life. That letting go of this love was the hardest thing I've ever done. North Carolina is sunny, lots of mirrors, beautiful state. My brother thought it was better for me to be there than being where he was in Jersey. I wasn't happy about that because I thought I was a Brooklyn chick. Deep inside, I thought I was a chick of Brooklyn. I thought I was funky enough. But he's like, hey, I think he saw my fire. He's like, let me send you to Shags. He's like, he had promised my mom he would take care of me. So I went to North Carolina. I went to school, I studied special ed and sign language, and I thrived. Mom used to ask me, are these your grades? I'm like, yeah, I was thriving. Something about the American system, and I felt positive. So I went to school and had a great time. I made friends. College life was great. I had a lot of support from my mother and my brother. It was just amazing. Now the student visa is ending. And do you want to be legal in the States? Not really. And so I've come to the conversation of myself thinking, okay, now I'm almost like late 20s, what am I going to do? And I'm about to finish school, I'm doing well, I've been offered a job at the college, but I don't have work papers. And I'm thinking about Mr. Hines. Mr. Hines' papers can't help me here. The sergeant has moved on. I can't believe he moved on. How dare he move on after 10 years later? He moved on. And now I'm stuck in this place of thinking, what am I going to do? So my very supportive family, again, as we always do, came together, talked to brother, and I said, hey, I'm ready. I have to stay. I got to get some papers, man. I got to figure this stuff out. Remember, I had not divorced Mr. Hines. Right? I just left. So one day, a girlfriend of mine said, we're going clubbing. I end up meeting this guy. Let's call him Mr. T. So let's see if you guys remember who we are. We've had Mr. and Mr. And now we're at T. So I talked to Mr. T and he's feeling me. That time I had like short hair. I used to get Masai Market earrings, sandals. I'm telling you, I look like I just left Kibra. I was in it, Kenya. I love Kenya. I am Kenya. Everywhere was Kenya. Mom used to send me that stuff. True loves, everything. I was the Kenyan living in America. So Mr. T, I tell him, this is what's going to happen. If you're going to tune me, you need to do this. So you got to figure me out because my visa's coming to an end. So again, I'm in that place where I have to make an adult decision. So I marry Mr. T. You guys are judging me. I can see you're judging me. Don't be judging. This thing is about adulting and making tough decisions. So I made the decision that I wanted to be legal. Think about it positively. Yeah, I wanted to be able to come and visit my mom and bring her bath and body stuff, right? And take her for lunch when I come, right? So I married Mr. T. But Mr. T wasn't for free. Mr. T was like, gotta pay up. He was like, I'm not doing it for free. So I come to my family, we do a small harambe. As usual, they support the last bond on. Last bonds are supported. And we pay this guy, and I get married. So now I am married to Mr. T, and we file the paperwork, and I have a green card. Like, yay, clap. Right? So now I've done good. See, I've done good. Right? I've made my family proud. Mom's not too sure. She's like, do I tell the family? She's feeling like, how can we say you got married again? I'm like, Mom, no one needs to know. I just keep coming home. So I started coming home and seeing mom and this now. I've gotten a job in the college. I'm interpreting for the state. Life is good. And I'm 30. I'm feeling this is so fantastic. Come home in the summer. I'm able to go see my brother. So things are calm. Then one summer, I come home feeling all excellent, and my aunties look at me and ask me, Nyokabi, her boyfriend. Where's the boyfriend? I'm like, boyfriend? I've married many times. I've had boyfriend. I've done it. I'm good. No, 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 no. You know, you're getting into your 30s. You gotta get married. I'm like, married? I know married. I've gone on a boat. I've gotten married. I met a guy in a club. I'm actually fantastic. They're like, no, it's time you're growing. So I'm thinking, gosh, this pressure. I thought I was an adult. I thought I had made decisions. I thought I had responsibility. I thought I had accepted myself as I am, but it wasn't enough. Society was like, ujafika, bado. So now I'm supposed to get married for real, right? And the universe is kind to me, and I meet Mr. Real. So you clap. Right? Now I've met Mr. D. We're going to call him Mr. D. Right? Forget those other ones. All of those, forget them. Now I'm married, and one sunny day in 2000 something, we have a beautiful wedding in Diani. Mom is happy. I've Korashiad. We've done, his family has come from South Carolina. They've kissed the ground because they're like, hey, we want to go to Africa, Africa. They're all here. They're like, oh my God, Africa. They're like, yep. My mother-in-law had prayed for years. She's a Southern Baptist. She's like, I want to see. I brought them to Africa. Miros who had never even flown. And here we are. The real Miros of here and then those ones. I brought them all together. And we had a beautiful 3-4 day ceremony, and I was Mrs. D. And I was like, yay, now, I guess now, I am a full adult. Now, society has told me you've done everything. I'm working, and my mom's happy. Then comes the discussion of children. And I'm like, no, man. I mean, it wasn't the plan. I mean, that's a lot, man. Me still feeling like a child inside. How can I take care of children? How? And I find myself a mother of two beautiful boys. And then I'm called Mama Boys. And now I'm in my 40s, right? And through this time, we are paying bills, we are buying a home, we are just coupling, hustling, all that stuff. And you're just feeling like, gosh, man, I used to dream and want to be, as Don was saying, we always want to be older. We always want to do more. But my mind is telling me, like, man, that's soft life, man. I missed it because the responsibility is so big. You have these 2 children looking at you all the time, like, feed me, bath me, breathe air into me. I mean, it's like they can't breathe. I'm like, you're breathing, you know? Every time they wake up a nightmare, Mom, I'm like, God, just a nightmare. So all that stuff. I'm like, this is what we're being told is fun. It's a hoax. We're being told, when you get married and have children, you feel. I wasn't feeling. I was just like, I wasn't sure. Then it comes to a point in my 40s, I'm still feeling restless, right? You know how you're feeling restless. But you're telling yourself, Nyokabi, you're grown. What other restlessness? You've done all this stuff. You've gone on boats. You've met husbands in clubs. I mean, what is it that you're wanting? You're married. The responsibility is a lot, right? Because you have car payments, you have credit cards. You guys know that life, yeah? And your kids are young, you have daycare. It's stressful. But my family is still there supporting me. Mom is there talking to me, making me feel like it's going to be okay. She's always there for me. But something wasn't right. So I talk to my husband. I tell him, there's something brewing in me. I'm not sure. I think I need to go back to base, right? Like go back to Woodley, where I felt myself most. And he's like, how? You're not ready right now. We got a plan. I'm just like, how long are we planning for? How long is this taking? The boys are growing. My mom is aging, you know? I just wasn't feeling settled. In 2016, 2017, I left my marriage and I moved to Kenya with my boys. It wasn't easy. I was in a custody battle. I was in and out of court. Cost my family a lot of money, but I came. And I came to the place where I was yearning for all these years. This place where I felt, when my feet were on the ground, I felt confident, I felt accepted, I felt loved. And I left all that and came back home. And guess who was waiting for me with open arms? Woodley was waiting for me. My mother. And my mother was just there, non-judgmental. If there's anyone who has a parent who doesn't judge, is my mother. I shock my mother a lot. If she could speak today, she'd say, hey, sometimes I tell her story, she's like, Guy, what? Nyokabi. And my mom was waiting for me, and she was like, what do you need us to do? She ran around and looked for schools for the boys. She found me, I got a job, and life started. I reconnected with my friends, my support system. I was like, this is heaven. And I was just living this life of assurance and support and just being back with people who look like me. And most of all, I was working with special needs children who were little Black children who I could relate with. And I am changing lives day by day with these children and their parents. But here's a question: why am I telling you this story? Why is this story important? This story is important to share because you may be sitting here today feeling like you're stuck. You're stuck somewhere and you're scared of making a decision because you're scared of being judged. The way you guys were judging me about my many marriages, right? And you might be feeling like you want to get out of it and you're not sure. I'm here to say it's okay. That's part of that transitioning, right? Being sure of yourself is part of that transitioning to the adult you are. Being okay with weight gain, being okay with menopause, being okay with aging. That's why I'm telling this story. Don't sit there and just get stuck. Life's about taking risks. Take your risks. Do them. Even if sometimes you take risks, you lose people, you lose family, you lose friends, people will judge you. But what the? Right? I mean, yeah. When you're 52, really, those things don't matter. What matters is your peace and stability and your mental health. That whole mental health thing is so important. So do those things you need to do and redefine adulting for you, the way it works for you, right? Dress the way you want to dress, dance the way you want to dance, kiss whoever you want to kiss, because it's your life. It's your life. And when you agree that you're an adult and you redefine it and realize that if you're not adulting, what's the alternative? The alternative is that we're dead, right? It means you're stuck somewhere, dying, or you're dead. And so I want to just inspire all of you to go out in the world and be an awesome adult. Thank you.